everyone, welcome to Geekonomics. We're back for another edition. Brian is in the basement of wonders, the home of uh, Ready Player One. I am in my white case of emptiness and the void, as I can call it. So Brian, how you doing? How's your week been? How's things going?
Well, Mark, the week was good. It was a short week, and now I'm on vacation, so it's kind of a cool, you
Mm,
know. Uh, and a lot of things happened this week. Obviously, we saw
yeah,
Black Widow. We actually did things. It was weird,
yeah,
and we got the gang back together, which was a lot of fun. And we're gonna talk about Black Widow, Loki later on. We got news, but um, yeah, it's been a weird week because it's like we went out on Thursday
yeah,
and it felt like the pandemic was over for a little bit because
yeah,
we weren't wearing a mask.
yeah.
Um, we're all vaccinated, but it was weird
Mm,
not wearing a mask. The theater, nobody had a mask on,
yes.
and we went out to Fridays because Denny's couldn't take us.
Yeah, straight a
And
touch of what's going on in the world, and then it was right back to normal again.
Yeah. And then now, well, and I went to Mansfield over the weekend. I went to
Mm,
the flea market on Sunday, which I have not been in over a year. The last time I've
yeah,
been there was 2019. And because it's outdoors, I
yeah,
didn't wear a mask because I'm like, you know what? If it's
yeah,
outdoors and humid,
yeah.
I'm not wearing a mask. And I think I saw two people wearing masks.
Mm,
No, I mean, it's outdoors. And
yeah,
if you're vaccinated, you're probably fine. If it
yeah,
was indoors, yes, I would put a
yeah,
mask on.
yeah,
But
yeah.
um, so it's just weird. It's like this weird thing we're
Mm,
playing right now between like it's like a balance.
yeah.
It's bizarre. It's getting
How
weird. I
bizarre.
mean,
How
it
bizarre.
is getting bizarre. But this week a lot of stuff came out. I'm one episode away from finishing the Resident Evil Netflix show. It's good so far. They're half an hour each. I gotta watch the last part today, but so far I
Mm.
like it, and um, it's a CG animated thing.
Yeah, I
Like it
saw a
look,
trailer for it. It looks really, really different. I saw you posted a thing for it, and I was like, I'm just gonna check the trailer out just to see what this is like.
you
And it's
should
really cool.
watch it. Yeah, the CG is
Yeah.
right up there with
No,
the
just
video
I
game.
wanted to see what the animation looks like. You said that you're not. Yeah, so it's kind of
Yeah, animation's good,
very
really
Scanner
good.
Darkly, kind of like early, like an upgrade of what that was when it first came out.
It looks like if you the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, it's on par with that CG for that video game.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's really good. And sometimes it's like really good and sometimes it's like okay. But
Like the guy's hair, it throws me off.
yeah, it's weird, but
The
it's a
lead
great
character's
story.
hair. If you watch the trailer, you'll know what I'm saying.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
like it throws me off as much as the girl's wig from Jupiter Legacy.
Yeah.
It's like I just can't take the show seriously because it's like, who made that choice?
Right,
Of all the
right.
choices they made, they
Why make
decided
that?
we'll make him have wavy hair, that weird like flock of seagulls hair.
He's always had that hair in Resident
I know, but
Evil.
it's just kind of like it's just kind of strange.
I hear you. I hear you.
Distract
So
you.
for me, that's
Really
been
is.
I watched that. We watched the last episode of Gone in the Dark, which it was like a update,
Yes.
which was
Yeah.
really good. And we finished the whole Sicily, the hotel. Is it
Cecil
Cecil Hotel?
Hotel Cecil.
Um, and the last episode was good, but they really could have condensed the 4 episodes to at least
Yes.
two.
Yes.
Um, I'm more enthralled with the history of that hotel,
Yeah.
and I loved learning about it.
Yeah.
The it kind of blows it. The last episode kind of tells you something it could have told you in the first episode,
That's
and
what
it would
Claire
have.
said. Same thing. She was like, it
Yeah,
really could have been one episode, and that was it.
they left one key thing. If they left one bit of information out for 3 episodes,
Yeah.
in the fourth episode
They
they
tell you the
tell
information, and it would have
they
made all the other episodes not make sense.
right.
Useless.
I'm not gonna ruin it for people because I think it's worth watching because you get to learn some history about this
Yeah.
hotel,
Yeah.
and also it really puts a spotlight. And I think it's a bigger problem is the homelessness in LA.
Yeah.
It puts a big spotlight on that, and I'm hoping maybe more people can help. And it's like it's a weird situation. What do you do to help? How can you help these
Yeah.
people? What can the town of LA, the city of LA do?
Well, it's
Um,
not even just the thing is too. It's just so people know it's not just an LA problem. There's homeless everywhere.
Mark,
It's
yes,
not just LA.
but no, no, obviously not
Yeah,
saying that.
I know.
But Skid Row, okay,
Yes.
Skid Row in LA,
Yeah.
it is so bad and prevalent that the cops have the barricades
Yeah.
around this whole block where homeless people live, and
Yeah.
it's called Skid Row, and
Yeah.
it's been like this. I think they said from the 70s or the
Yeah. It's been
80s,
a while. Yeah.
and it's getting worse, and it
I mean,
doesn't
it's so
get
bad that
better.
I was watching a thing over the weekend where, like, even on Venice Beach, like right on the beach, there's just rows of tents, and the
Yeah.
town is finally like being like, we can't just have these tents like on the beach. It's like there's no protection from anything. They just, so they're like
Yeah.
finding a new location for all these folks to live, basically.
Listen, there's homelessness
Rows of tents.
everywhere,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying the LA one is it's pretty crazy. And a lot of
Yeah.
homeless people will travel and go to LA to Skid Row. So a
Yeah.
lot of these folks are from
Yeah.
all over the country.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're homeless and you can go somewhere where the weather is going to be nice all year
Yeah.
round,
Yeah.
you're going to go to California.
Yeah. That's like the the one disadvantage for California is that the weather's perfect all year round, kind of. So people kind of just go there.
Yeah.
So
But
I'm just saying, just
it's
that not only is it, I know it's bad in LA, but you know,
yeah.
it's everywhere. So if you have an organization in your area that deals with that, look into helping them out. That's all I'm saying.
That's the way you should have said it. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, that was good. I mean, that was my week. And then, of course, on Thursday, we're going to talk about a little bit later on. We saw the movies, which we'll hit upon when we
Yeah.
get into our Black Widow review. Mark, how was your week?
It was good. I finished reading Ready Player Two,
Yeah.
the sequel to Ready Player One. I would say if you only seen the movie, go back, read the book Ready Player One, because it's not the same. Surprise,
Well,
surprise. Books aren't the same as
it's
movies.
very different. Very different.
Yeah, but so which I had read Ready Player One already, so it was very cool to read Ready Player Two. It was really good. I suggest it if you're a fan of that movie or genre. I would say check it out. It's really well done. I started getting into Sweet Tooth on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How is it?
Started watching that. It is amazing.
Yeah. I want to get it's on my list.
Oh my gosh, it's visually stunning. Like we talked about it before. I remember us talking about it on the show before. Will Forte is like probably one of his best acting things.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, he's really only in. Well, I'm not gonna get into it, but he's only in like a couple episodes, I'll say. So, but still, it's really well done. The kid they picked to play Sweet Tooth is really good. The whole show is just good. There's like I haven't like it's really well put together so far. I think I'm a quarter of the way through. I watched like 3 episodes last night. I just started watching it last night because I was like Claire went to bed early, and I was like I don't know. I've seen everyone online talking about the show. It's been everywhere. I'm like I need to check the show out finally and break down and watch it.
Yeah.
So
Jeff Lemire, who's the creator of the graphic novel,
yeah.
he's actually he has a quote in my Twin Peaks book. He's a huge Twin Peaks guy,
Mm,
and he's been on another Twin Peaks podcast as a guest a couple times, and he very nice guy from what I
mm,
heard. I haven't talked to him personally, but we have a quote of his in our Twin Peaks book through email. Um, but he seems like a really nice guy, and it was weird. He was talking about how he had a show in the works with
mm.
Netflix, but he couldn't tell anybody what it was at the time. Um, but
Pretty sweet.
yeah, I definitely want to check out the graphic novel.
Yeah, I
And
know. This is making me want to read the graphic novel now. This is
yeah,
it's
I think like the explosion of superheroes, people don't realize though. There's a lot of great smaller things that
this is
were
true.
graphic novels that become great television,
Yeah,
and it pushes the
Or
medium.
bad television. Doesn't mean the graphic novel's not good.
But okay, say Jupiter Ascending
Legacy.
Legacy,
Yes.
even though that was a bad show,
Yes.
people still defended the comic book or the
Yes.
graphic
Yeah.
novel and said
Exactly. Yeah.
you should read that. So it still
Yeah.
helps the sales of
Yeah.
these books.
Yeah.
And so I think like Sweet Tooth, Snowpiercer, um, all these things you might not be like that's based on a graphic novel, and you're
Yeah.
like yeah, and I think that's
Yeah.
great. So it's good to
Yeah.
hear. I'll definitely try to check it out this week.
Yeah. It's worth taking the time. I think even Allison would like it. It's very visually stunning. It's all shot like the first part of the story is told in Yellowstone National Park, so it's very picturesque and everything. But started getting to that. Like we said, we did Black Widow on Thursday. Over the weekend was the ECBL All Star Game at Springfield, so I covered that for the Zombies. That was a good time. It was a 3-point contest, a slam dunk competition, and All Star Game. So got to hang out with Matt Ryan a little bit, talk to him about some stuff, and we got big news. Halloween this year,
Yeah, yeah.
East River Comics and Collectible Show is back at the place where it all started
Yep.
after it moved.
Halloween, October 31st.
Yes,
It's only going to be one floor. They're not
yes,
doing two floors.
yes,
And if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask.
that is true. It is from 10 to
I got
3.
yep.
Early birds at 9 a.m. and it's closer, so you don't have to drive an hour and a half away, which was
We're back, baby. We're back.
yeah,
We're back.
yeah. I was talking with
I
Scott yesterday, and I was like, "Thank you so much. I don't have to wake
yeah.
up super early."
You don't
He's
need
like,
you
"Oh
didn't need
no."
to anyway. You're not a vendor, Mark.
Well, I helped Matt Ryan out. He'd thrown his back out, so he
I
couldn't do
know,
it.
but if
So
you didn't have a back
yeah,
problem,
no, I
you
was just like,
really
yeah, I was like, "Thanks, man." He's like, "Oh, I know."
um but I think it's gonna be a great show, and especially it's gonna be a Halloween day on a Sunday back in Enfield. I will
Yeah,
paint the town red with flyers. So I'm excited for this one. I think it'll be a
yeah,
good one. So
yeah.
we'll as we get closer, we'll promote the hell out of it like normal. But
Yes, of
yeah,
course, yeah.
great news.
But yeah,
Um,
that was big news over the weekend, and yeah. Besides that, just the usual week. It was a short week, like you said. Been
yeah.
raining pretty much nonstop. It feels like.
Well,
I feel
dude,
like we've moved to
yeah,
Seattle for some reason. I don't know why,
yeah.
but it just feels like it just rains all the time
It's this summer has sucked. It's either raining,
or
hot, or
cold.
humid. And we had
But like a weekend of cold.
Saturday was beautiful, and
Yeah, yeah,
Sunday was good. It was humid, but it was cloudy. And then now it's going to rain today. Tomorrow,
yes,
thunderstorm. We've just been having thunderstorms like
yeah,
every freaking day. At least we had a nice weekend.
yeah.
Um,
Somewhat of a nice weekend. Yesterday
yeah,
was
yeah. Yesterday was cloudy, but it was fine. We went
it
to
poured
Mansfield. I
here all
mean,
day.
it rained in Springfield.
It rained nonstop from about 2 o'clock on.
We got nothing. Dry as a
Yeah,
bone.
no, it
It
rained here.
Mansfield
Um,
dry all
I
day.
was
Enfield
trying to get Claire
dry.
motivated. I'm like, it's gonna rain. She's like, oh, she's like, I'm like, we gotta get going. She wanted to go to the grocery store. I'm like, we need to get to the grocery store. She's putzing around. I'm like, we gotta go to the grocery store. So we literally went to the store. As we're in the store, we heard it start coming down. I'm like, and now it's pouring outside. So now I have to go out and get drenched to go get the car to load the groceries up. Not a
It
happy
didn't.
month.
It didn't rain here at all. We were
That's
fine.
well, that's it shows how far Springfield and Enfield are away from each other.
20 minutes.
Yep.
um. So Mark, let's get into the news. I'm
Yes.
going to start the news off on a bad, bad news
Oh.
because it's no to end it. I want to get it out of the way.
All
Um.
right.
This
Fine.
this this news affect for me and I'm assuming you
Okay.
is probably one of my rock and roll heroes. Someone, a band that I've grown up with, Blink 182, Weezer.
Oh.
Uh,
Okay.
two of my favorite bands of all times,
Yeah,
and Mark Hoppus is definitely one of those people I look up to as a
yeah,
musician, and I think he's just like awesome, all around cool guy.
yeah.
But on Twitter, like 2 weeks ago, he posted a photo of him getting
Mm,
chemotherapy,
yeah,
totally bald, getting
yeah.
chemotherapy. He's been getting chemo for the last 3 months.
Mm,
Nobody knew. He
yeah.
finally posted it. It finally came out over the weekend that he has a massive tumor on his shoulder. It is the last update I read. It's a stage 4A, which is
Yeesh.
not good.
That's the worst.
It's that he was getting a test this week to find out
If it's operable
um,
or not.
if basically he said, I'm getting a test that may very well determine if I live or die.
Yeah.
That's what he tweeted out.
It's finding out if it's they can operate on and take it off, or if they can't, it's spread too far.
Yeah, well,
Into
he's
the bone or
undergoing
something.
stage 4 means it has spread,
Yeah.
because he says that um, he's going to go through chemo or bone marrow transplants.
Mm,
Yes, so that's
yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
And so people at been coming out of sending good wishes, and
Yeah.
he goes on Twitch a lot,
Yeah.
and like he's opening up about it, but it's been
Yeah.
3 months where he hasn't said anything.
Mm,
But maybe he felt like, well, I want to see where this goes before I tell people, because maybe it's fine.
yeah.
But yeah, that's like, dude, I heard that news. It's like my jaw dropped. Like I
Yeah.
had
That's terrible news. I mean, hopefully the one goodish thing that can come out of it, besides him recovering, is the possibility of him and Tom DeLonge like reconnecting and
oh, they are. They
yeah,
so it came out. Tom and Mark, they say they talk every day.
that's
They're
good.
friends
Yeah,
again. They're friends again.
that's good. Yeah,
They're friends.
awesome.
Tom, Angels and Airways has a new album coming out
Yes.
in September, and they're
Yeah.
going on tour.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Tom isn't joining Blink-182 anytime soon, but they are friends. They talk to each other every
Mm,
day. There was some sort of stream where someone asked Mark, and Mark goes, "Oh, he's like, we text all the time. He's actually texting me right now."
mm,
So they are close again, because there
good.
was that rift,
Yeah, there
which is
was that
great.
rift there for a while there. So
But dude, I'm like stage 4. It sucks. Like,
yeah,
hopefully he can get through this. It's going to be a long battle. He
yeah.
said you'll be
It's a
doing
tough.
chemo.
Those are. It's tough,
Yeah.
but it happens. There's people that have come back from big
Oh,
like stuff like that before. Like Heather came back. She was given a tough road, and she came back from it, and she's doing fantastic. So
yeah.
there's hope. There's
There's
always
hope.
hope.
I had a friend, his wife, she was older. I
Yeah,
mean, this is an older couple, and she had cancer where she had to get bone marrow transplant, and she didn't last long. I mean,
yeah.
I
It's
think she lasted like 5 years, maybe. Like,
yeah.
it
That's 5 years
wasn't.
more than she would have had 10, 15 years ago. So
But they were also in their 60s,
yeah,
60s or 70s. So
yeah,
anyway, that's a downer. I will keep you updated as I'm updated, but
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. But I hate, god, goddamn cancer.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Hopefully,
um,
with the way that things are going, I mean, like in a near future, hopefully the near future, the stuff that they've been able to do with the coronavirus vaccine, it's like that type of science is like what they're saying could like do so many things and like work towards curing a lot of things down the road. So hopefully that gets going and we won't have to worry about this in the future. So
yeah.
yeah,
Um, and to move on to more exciting news, Mark.
yes, happier news.
Happier news. December
As you brought down the
17th.
party, bring it back up again.
December 17th, The Witcher
Yes.
Season 2.
Season 2, the teaser trailer came out
I
over the
haven't
weekend.
watched. Yeah, I haven't watched it. I feel like I
You gotta
might
watch
wait.
it. It's amazing.
I'm gonna wait for the bigger trailer. Maybe I don't even want. I don't want to know. I'll watch
It's
it.
good. It's good.
I'll watch
It's good.
it.
It's
CD
going very
Projekt.
much the way the books have gone, from what I've been told from watching a lot of stuff online over the weekend. I didn't watch not haven't read the books, probably not going to. But I guess the first book was very much like the first season, a lot of time jumping back and forth. And now we're gonna get more of like a linear storyline, which is gonna be good.
Well, yeah. Now that the way it ended, I don't
Yeah,
want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it.
yeah.
The great thing is, CD Projekt Red announced that the next generation version of Witcher 3, which I've
Mm,
been waiting for, so I can play. I own Witcher 3, and I love Witcher 2. It was a great
yes.
game. Um,
I
they're
tried
go-
Witcher 3.
it wasn't your bag. It's not everybody's bag.
Not my bag, baby.
It's an action RPG.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't too much.
and
I want to just
since
kill
I
things. I don't want to.
since I played 2, I'll know like 3 because it's kind of more of the same.
Yeah,
Um, but they're going to do a next gen upgrade for free for people who own it, which is great. And
yeah.
then they're going to add they're actually going to be adding Witcher elements from the TV show side missions that are they're based upon the TV show, which is kind of cool.
Got to
So
find
some
a part.
new content, a big upgrade. So I'm down. So that'll probably be my winter game. I like long winter games that I could just play all day. You know,
Okay.
I don't know. I just like Red Dead Redemption 2 was a perfect fall game. I
Yeah,
love that game. Was so long, but it
yeah.
was perfect for the fall. Um,
Speaking of video games, Brian, I know you'd say it's happening years from now,
yes,
but there was an announcement over the weekend or over the past week.
it was more of a rumor. I don't know if it was an announcement, but
Well, it looks like it was coming from Rockstar. So,
it
uh,
there was yeah.
Grand Theft Auto heading back to Vice City.
They said Vice City map. It's rumored Vice City and then it will be in 2024.
Yeah,
I'm looking up right now, and then
more
it's going
expansive
to
map. They're saying that they can add to as
yeah.
the game's released.
They could update it.
Yeah,
So if Vice if the map from Vice City or Vice City is in the game, that would be
yeah.
really cool. We'll see what happens. It's 2024 potentially
Yes.
if it happens. And GTA Online makes so much money. I'm hoping they'll make a GTA 6. So I mean, goddamn online. The online has really ruined
Kids love the
GTA.
online, Brian.
I know.
Just because you don't doesn't mean the kids don't.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
Not made for
it,
you, Brian.
it stops it like they put so much content on the online one. It's like I
We're
want
still
a
putting
new
content in the online.
I know, I want a new game.
Yeah,
You know? That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
So let's see if it happens.
yeah.
And what else do I got? Also, here we're gonna go into Black Widow. This is pretty big, Mark. Black Widow sets pandemic record with 80 million at
Yes.
domestic box office, but get this, 60 million on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Globally, it made 215 million.
Yes. And that's basically without China.
Yes, without China.
If you
And
had China, who
you
knows?
know what I liked about Black Widow? It didn't cater to China.
No. Yeah.
You can tell when a movie caters to China.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel it catered to China this one.
Yeah.
So it's the largest domestic box office opening since the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh,
The
take
last
that,
one,
Vin Diesel.
the big, the second, the last largest one before pandemic was Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah.
Um, And
And if you think
then,
about it too, this is our first Marvel movie since Far From Home.
yes, you're right.
That's crazy to think about. It's been that long.
Yeah. It's combined theater and Disney Plus premiere access opening made it the only film to surpass 100 million in domestic consumer
Mm.
spent on an opening weekend since the start of the COVID-19
Yeah.
pandemic.
And I would suggest to any of those people who watched it on Disney Plus. I know you've already seen it and I know you enjoyed it or not, whichever. I would say I will go back to what Brian had said, I think, last week. It was awesome to watch it on a movie screen.
Yes. Yes. I'm telling
I
you.
had
I've
poo-pooed
been
it last week, but I eat my words and say I missed being in the movie theater.
Yes. Yes. I mean, if I could go back in time and see King Kong versus Godzilla in the theater, I
Yeah.
would.
Oh, yeah.
If I could see Mortal Kombat in the theater, I would.
Well, I don't know
Um,
that. That's it.
I'm just saying, for me, it's more of an experience to see it in a big screen than
Yeah.
watching it by myself at home.
Yeah.
I got one more bit of information. It is the highest domestic opening for any MCU origin story after Black Panther and Captain Marvel.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it did, like, rightfully so. I thought this was definitely one of my favorite MCU
Yeah.
single person movie,
One shots, kind of.
one shot. Yeah, we have an origin story that should
Yeah.
have came. In my opinion, I really
This
wish
should have
this
come out
movie
10 years ago.
it should have came
It'd have been,
out right where the
seen a lot of
timeline
things.
was.
I watched a lot of videos over the weekend since watching the movie, kind of like trying to get my own like ideas about it and trying to figure out like what was the one thing I would have wanted about this movie. And the one thing I keep hearing from a lot of people is this should have came out 10 years ago. If this had come out 10 years ago, this had been an epic movie.
Well, it still
The
was
fact that
epic.
it like they had the script for that long and they sat on it and sat on it and then they finally decided to do it.
No, they didn't though. They didn't. That's the problem. They didn't have an idea for this movie
Well,
for,
they had the idea of doing a Black Widow movie for a
but
long
they
time.
didn't know
It's
what
been
to do.
rumored for
Yeah.
a long time that they've been talking about it, working
Yes.
on the idea, trying to hash it out. And if they'd actually just done it
Yeah.
10 years ago,
I would
when this movie kind of falls into that time frame, if it
if
had
the
come out,
movie
if this movie had come out after Civil War came out and it came out before Infinity War and Endgame, I think it would have made those movies better.
one step further, Mark, it would have made her death.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it would have made it more important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more important. Her death
And you
was
would have felt for
important.
it because you would have had like the attachment
Yes.
of her family and know that she was
Yes.
like leaving them behind after she had just found them
Yes.
and that whole
Yes.
thing. So I think it would,
Totally.
yeah,
I think the impact would have
her
been
sacrifice
greater.
more, yeah, than
Right.
just giving up basically.
Also, you would have known more about how she's lived a conflicting life, that
Yes,
she
yeah,
was willing to escape. Now we're
yeah,
going to spoilers here into our
yeah.
review.
I
We're
mean,
spoil-
if you're watching the show, you should know that we're going to talk about the movie.
I know, but I just want to say,
Like
but
dance around it and be like, here's how the movie was.
I know, but
But
so
before we
here,
do this
whatever.
though, before we get into the
Oh,
meat of
hold
the
on, let
show,
me finish my
hold on.
thought.
No. Before you do that, I want to like before
Oh,
we get into
Mark,
the meat of
always
the
talk it
movie.
over me.
Before we
What?
get into the meat of the movie, let's talk about just our experience of being back in a movie theater. Not only did we go back to the movie theater, we went to a new theater for us.
Yeah.
We went to the Agawam Cinemas. Is that what they
Yes.
call it?
You don't even know.
I always want to say theater every time I talk about the movies. But Agawam Cinemas, it's a small little theater located in a strip mall in Agawam.
Agawam.
Yeah. If you're in the area, I would suggest going to see a movie there. I would suggest bringing a blanket because it gets very cold.
Yes. Yes.
Ryan and I we're talking about huddling together for warmth about halfway through the movie.
It is freezing.
Or starting a small fire on the front of the.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very cold in there. It could have just been the way the weather was because it was a rainy day and they, whatever. But it was a cool little theater. It was neat to kind of like watch it there as opposed to a bigger theater. I don't know how it would have been. There wasn't that many people in the theater with us, but it was still
It's fine with me.
it was
Yeah,
still
it's
pretty
fine with me.
cool. I love the setup of they have like a countertop in front of each row of seats. So that was very cool to have like a place to put your drinks and everything, not to put them on the ground like a lot of theaters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made it was a nice like re-entry into theaters. It
Yeah.
wasn't the big, huge theaters with the 9,000 screens and it was nice to kind of like gateway back into going to the movies again.
Well, also helping a smaller mom and
Yes,
pop
yeah,
place.
that too. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I rather put my money towards helping them. They're the ones suffering the most.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Going to Enfield cinemas, I hate to say it, but I mean, they have the money.
yeah.
You
Corporate has
know,
the money; they're not worrying about
yeah.
anything. Yeah,
Uh,
but
and they'll be fine. They will be fine.
yeah,
But yeah, it was a great experience, and I was so happy to have the gang back together. And like it was weird. But
yeah. Surprisingly, Rocky no showed. I mean, who thought that was going to happen?
it
I'll
happened.
throw him under the bus. I don't care. He forgot
Nobody.
he went to friendlies.
I know it's such a bullshit thing.
Who forgets and goes to friendlies for anything?
But let me. You got me all off. I was gonna go back to my point. Um, what I was trying to say about
Yes,
Natasha, about Black Widow, when she sacrifices herself, you
yes,
can go back to that in this movie now. She was willing to take out a little girl
yeah,
to get out of the control of this man, this
yeah.
the person that was controlling all these women
Widows.
that were like
Yeah,
they were assassins, secret
yeah,
assassins. And she was that part of that initiative. Not she was indoctrinated in, not like
yes,
willingly,
yeah,
and she was willing to take out the daughter, a small child, and it
yeah.
weighed on her that she went as far to do something that extreme to get out
Now we
of this
know like
hell.
that's like the Budapest incident. Like when they talk about Budapest, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, what this was, it was that story,
Yes.
like what happened in Budapest, basically.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so it was they go through that whole thing. It was very. It did suffer the beginning of the Marvel trope of we like collages. Here's a collage
You
of
know
all
what?
these
I like
photos
that
of
collage.
people.
I well,
It's like, well,
it wasn't random though. It was showing you these
yes, I know,
women
but it's
going
the
through.
trope. It's the trope of Marvel of
I
instead of
I I
storytelling,
liked it.
we're just gonna
I like that
show you
opening.
a bunch of pictures with music behind it to tell you what to get you to where we need you to get to.
It didn't bother me one bit. I actually thought it was the darkest. The more I thought about it, like afterwards, I'm like, that whole beginning was a very dark for Marvel. Like
Well, the whole movie
like
was technically, if you think about it, if you really think about what was going on, it was a
yes,
very dark movie.
it's a very dark
Yeah, it's
underlining
very.
story.
It is very. If you're into spy movies, you'll like this. It's very James Bondy, Jason Bourne esque.
Yeah, it's
Like
got
all
that.
it's like a tribute almost to those movies. Almost,
Yeah,
it's got like the tropes of both those movies,
but
like
when they're
Jason
putting
Bourne fight
kids
scenes and the
in
James
their
Bond.
concentration, they're putting kids in cages and they're
Yeah,
inducting them. I mean, and they're showing them training these girls to be killers.
yeah.
I mean, that montage sat with me. It's in my head. I thought
Yeah.
about it all weekend. I'm like, that shit was pretty dark. It was like not your
Well, the crazy
typical.
thing about it is, if you think about it, Black Widow, the character, has been around for a long time, and that's
Yeah,
been her story. That she was kidnapped as a child, turned
yeah,
into an assassin,
but we've
like
never
that whole
seen it.
thing. Yeah, we never actually seen it happen, like seen it. But the thought, like the thing that they've been doing that in like the 70s, and that's still a thing. Like women are kidnapped basically and put into not like assassin stuff, but it's just like that storyline of like a guy just kidnapping a bunch of girls to like turn them into his own army, basically.
Sex trafficking, Mark.
Yes, yeah. It's just yeah, I didn't hear what you if you had said that earlier, but yeah, it's just crazy that like that story. It really they did a very good job of telling that story of like that character kind of, but
Yeah,
they did use the collage thing to get to it, but and
the
how he's connected
opening.
to all these big like
Yeah,
governments and everything and all this stuff.
I thought the opening was really good. I
Yeah,
really liked it. Um,
but it does show which in the it's I think the way that the Marvel universe is going, it's going to be superheroes versus governments, which they kind of hinted at in Civil War with Sokovia Accords, and this takes place right after that, or right before that, basically. This is Natasha on the run, being chased by Ross to like because she's not abiding by the Sokovia Accords. So I think that's where we're heading. Is we're heading towards like that government versus.
Well, we already did that, Mark. I mean that was an old storyline. That was just a
Well, I think
puzzle
it's
piece.
coming back because I'll tell you why later on.
Well, tell me now.
Well, because it goes into the after credit scene.
Oh, well, it's going to be internal. I think it's going to be this this
Well, I
yeah,
think
the
I've
secret
mentioned this.
group.
I mentioned this to Matt Ryan over the weekend, and I might have said it when we all
Secret
were.
Wars, Mark. It's the Secret Wars.
I don't think it's even to be that. I think that's a whole different thing. I think this is leading up to the Thunderbolts, and I think they're
Good.
gonna. Valentina is working for the government to put together a team because they can't control the Avengers.
No, they can't.
The Avengers have broken off from the governments to be their own entity. That the government's UN, whatever they decide calling it, has come together and said, we need our own team. If we can't control these guys, we're going to get our own squad that we're
Yeah.
going to control and be in charge of, and they'll
Yeah.
work for us. Like they got US Agent, which is their Captain America. Now they got Black Widow's sister, who's going to be their Black Widow,
Yeah. Is it
Elena,
Elena?
who hasn't gotten a code name yet, but
Yeah.
so they also, I think they'll bring in Taskmaster.
I don't
She
think
works
so.
with Elena, so I think they're gonna bring
No,
her
they
team
haven't
up.
though, and I don't think Taskmaster is going to come back. I don't
I think
personally,
Taskmaster is gonna reappear.
and I don't think she's going to. If Taskmaster, I feel like if that character comes back, it's going to be on its own because it just got. I mean, I don't know. I don't even see Taskmaster coming back right now for any reason.
Well, no, I don't think Elena's gonna come back right away either.
Yeah.
She's gonna see her in the Hawkeye, but I think you also might get the Taskmaster in that too. Because, like I said, Elena at the end of the movie, whatever happens at the end of the movie, is now with Elena, Taskmaster. She leaves with the Widows,
Yeah.
Taskmaster.
Yeah.
So
So
Taskmaster is now in that group, and if Elena's working for the government with Valentina, then ipso facto, you would think Taskmaster is also working with them.
I
And
didn't
Taskmaster was
see
a part of Thunderbolts, so that's what
I
makes me think.
I didn't see it happen, so I don't know. And don't forget that happened years ago, so we don't know where Taskmaster is at
Well,
this
it doesn't have to be the
point.
same Taskmaster. That's my thing too. Everything I had thought about that was Taskmaster could be handed off to a different person. Someone else could take up the mantle of Taskmaster. It doesn't have
Well,
to be that same character.
we and Jeremy talked about that, but it could be passed on, and we can get a
Yeah.
real Taskmaster because
Yes.
this was kind of a fact. This was just kind of like it was meant for Black Widow, this character. So
Yeah.
will it flourish? Will it come back? I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a cool character. It
Well, they
basically
gender swapped it, and they basically neutered the
neutered it.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a.
So
I don't want
and
to
it worked, and
ruin
it worked
who
for
it
the
is.
Black Widow movie
That's what I'm
story.
saying.
But I
I
don't
don't
think
know
it
if
would
it.
work in the MCU wide story.
Yeah, I don't see it going
But they
anywhere.
could take that mantle and be given to somebody else because,
It could.
like Valentina's doing, she's basically rebuilding the Avengers,
Yeah.
but with like B level Avengers.
Well, she's also working with. She's building this anti-Avengers.
Yes, Dark Avengers, if you will.
Because these are people that are a little bit more jaded, and
Yeah,
they have a little axe to grind
yeah.
with certain people.
Or giving an axe to grind because they were told something that's not true,
Right. Yes.
which goes into the post credits.
Black Widow does time jump near the end of the movie, time jumps a little bit, and
Well, it
the
comes to
credits.
present day after
Yeah,
Endgame and everything. So
yeah. Um, but for the movie itself, man, I really liked it. I'm glad I had a weekend to think about it because I hate when we do movie reviews right after we see it because
it's your idea. I don't know why you say you hate it. It's your idea to do that.
yeah, but
It's called
telling you,
After the Movies. It's like our first reactions.
but I'm telling you, I'm glad we didn't do it
Yeah,
because there has been times where I didn't know what to think, and
yeah.
I'm just saying what comes to my mind, but that's not always the right answer, or it's not how I feel later on. So I'm
Mm,
glad because the more this movie sat with me, the more I liked it,
mm.
and I really do want to see it again before it's out of the theater.
Yeah.
Um, I just I liked.
Well, if we wait a couple months, it'll be on Disney Plus. So you can just watch it for free there.
Yeah, well, I think they announced when it will be on Disney Plus for free, and
Yeah, I want to say
uh,
it's usually like a 3 month time frame.
I gotta look this up. I think I told you. I think I said it on the show, and they made the announcement. Let's see, October 6th.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we're in July, August, September. 3 months.
Yeah,
All
3 months.
right.
Yeah, it's always that's
Yeah.
what Ride the Last Dragon was that way too.
Yeah. So
That was like,
I
and all the other ones that have been like the
I guess I could wait, or I might just go when it's cheaper. I don't know. But anyway, I
yeah.
really, really liked it. I think it's definitely for me. It was a great way to get back to the MCU and the big screen. I think
It was, and
it was a fun story.
they added the comedy thing of it, and I think the relationship that they built between Black Widow and her
Sister,
sister, were was very
her
well
sister.
really well done, and they did a good job of that. And they did
All
the whole trope of her picking on Black Widow for her like fall that she does to the ground and
yeah,
the
yeah, that was
posing and
funny.
all that stuff.
David Harbour and Florence. I'm not going to pronounce her last name.
Or
Pug.
Pew,
Is it Pugh? That's how you
Pew,
pronounce it.
yeah, Pew.
Florence Pugh plays sister. For me, stole the movie. I thought
I
them
think the
those two
ancillary family
were
members
so
also
good.
the movie. I think it's because you didn't, and I've heard this online too. It's you don't care about. It's not like you don't care about Scarlett Johansson's character. You don't care about Black Widow. It's like you know her story. You know what's going to happen to her. So there's no like,
I disagree with that.
well, there's no
I
like
did
tangible
care
like
about her.
thing with it. You don't think she's not going to die in the movie
Oh,
because you know she's going to
obviously,
make it through.
yeah.
So there's that like that kind of thing to it. It's like you know like there's no
It's an MCU movie. I don't expect many people to die. The only
no, but
time
you
I
know what I mean.
expect
There's
people to
no like
die are big movies.
yeah, but there's no I can't think of the word right now, but there's no like worry that she's
There's no
gonna.
sense of emergency.
Yes,
This
exactly. Thank
sense
you.
of urgency.
Yes,
Urgency.
yeah.
I
He's
get
just
that.
like just going through the motions with her, whereas the other three characters, you had that because they were all like you just introduced to them the whole family dynamic. How does that affect Black Widow? What is the things that set Black Widow up for what she was going to be in those two other movies in Infinity War and Endgame? And then like the thing that I'm thinking of as we're going through all this, okay, what happened to them? Like you
They
need to like
probably
now you like you want to know like what happened with Red Guardian. Was he snapped? Was he not snapped?
we won't know.
I there's no like
But they can come back. They can
yeah,
come back.
yeah.
Um,
But the way the time frame of that movie falls, like I was saying earlier, it kind of throws off the other two movies because you had that whole scene at the beginning of Infinity War or of Endgame where Black Widow's sitting at Avengers Campus by herself, and she kind of has that lonely, like lost feel to it. And there was no like the explanation of losing the teams and all that stuff and all that's going on. But if they'd included this movie had happened in line with the rest of the Marvel movies, they could have used saying, her sister was snapped or her father or Red Guardian got snapped, then you would have had more. It would have made her character more tangible in those movies.
I I don't I didn't need that. I mean, we knew she was more torn up about the
But I
people
think this movie
in the
suffers from
Avengers.
that a little. Is that
Eh,
there's gonna be like people are gonna watch this movie and they're gonna like if this movie had come out right after Civil War, I think it would have worked better
yeah,
storyline wise.
I know. I agree with that. I
Yeah,
mean, I think there's elements that would have helped her character, but for me, yeah, I totally agree with that. But for me, I'm saying like going back to what I'm saying, for me, those two other characters stole the movie.
yeah, no, for
I
sure. Yeah,
when they were on screen, I loved it. I think
yeah,
they worked so well together. I think like I mean, I cared about Scarlett Johansson's character. I knew like I was interested about that, but her family dynamic was just
yeah.
really awesome. And sometimes they can introduce characters and they just are just okay. But for
Like
me,
Taskmaster.
exactly. But for me, these two characters were like the actors really stood out
Yeah,
for me. I thought they were amazing.
yeah,
And I think it's going to be awesome that Florence will be pretty much
yeah,
in future installments.
yeah.
So that I think that's great. And we'll find out with the whole Hawkeye thing.
Oh, that's all gonna work out.
He's going to have his own show.
We don't even know how Dan feels about it, but I mean,
Whatever. Nobody
you
knows
got
who Dan is
yeah,
watching our
anyway,
show.
yeah. Um,
So,
here's a
but
question I have
anyway,
for you. I've seen online over the weekend. Now that you've seen a Marvel movie back on screen, as opposed to watching the Marvel shows, did it make the Marvel movie experience different for you?
no,
So I've seen a lot of people being like, could they have made this a Disney Plus show?
no,
Would it have benefited from the Disney Plus treatment of being a
no,
longer form, being able to dive deeper into the relationships with her and her family
no.
and
I
different
don't.
people?
I think the shows and the movies feel epic. I think the for me, I watch the show and I still get that same excitement, and it still feels like I'm watching a movie that's cut up,
I did
really.
have the thing
But
where I felt a little like at the beginning of it, I felt like this could be done better. You've seen the Disney Plus shows, WandaVision, Captain and Winter Soldier, and now
Captain
Loki. Yeah, Cap and Winter Soldier.
Falcon.
Now, yeah, well, like changes the Captain America Winter Soldier at the end, and then Loki, and you see how well those shows are done and how well they're put together. And then this movie's, I mean, in the grand scheme of Marvel movies, probably not one of the top Marvel movies. I would say it was a fine Marvel movie. It wasn't a great Marvel movie.
For me, I put it up there. It was one of my favorites. It's a
You know,
subjective.
I liked it, but it wasn't like I was like, yeah, that's good.
I like this. I put this in my top 10 of Marvel movies for me. It's subjective. You don't
Yeah,
have to. For me,
I mean, I'd put it like
I
middle that level. Yeah, I mean, of the 20 some odd movies, it's right in that top, like the bottom of the top movies.
I mean, I don't think it would have been any better or worse if it was on television. I mean, I rather just sit down and see the whole story in one sitting,
Mm,
and shows like WandaVision where you're getting a little bit more creative and you're trying to build a different kind of narrative works well week to week. And same with Falcon Winter Soldier. It's a smaller scale. That show would not have worked as a movie because it
yeah,
was so small scale. And then with Loki, it's small scale yet again. So the small scale stories I think work well on television. And this Black Widow is a top tier Avenger. She deserves a movie. I mean, so it would be like Captain America not getting a Captain America movie, but getting a TV show. People would be like, but why? He's one of the
They
top
did
Avengers.
technically, if you think about it.
You know who I'm talking about. Not talking about Falcon. I'm talking about if they were like, you know what, Civil War or Captain America 2
But
gets a
Hawkeye's getting a
TV
TV
show.
show. He's a top tier Avenger.
Is he?
So your theory bunked, sir.
But he's not getting a prequel. He's getting a continuation, and he's not really a top tier. We all know Hawkeye isn't
Well, I think
everyone's
the thing
favorite.
that also affects this movie is that it was supposed to come out before the Marvel shows came out.
Yeah, it did not. I don't know why it was blown. It does not affect anything. The only thing difference is
No, I'm not
the
saying
ending.
to myself.
I
I'm
know, but
saying in general. I think there's a consensus of a lot of people out there
yeah, but
who are like,
whatever.
well, if this had come out before the shows had come out, it wouldn't be juxtaposed like
How? Who's comparing them? Because the only
online.
thing.
There's a lot of people who are comparing them, Brian.
Who cares? They're idiots. Because this is how
Well,
I
they're
think
the
about it.
people that talk about these things, Brian.
The ending of the movie, they introduce
I mean, I don't know if you know, Brian, they reshot the whole ending of the movie.
they didn't.
It was
They
shot on a Thursday in a basement of someone's house.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character is introduced at the end of Black Widow.
Yes.
That's how it was supposed to happen, and then she would show up in Black and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Would have helped. That one thing would have helped to make the more. I mean, some people say it would help to make more sense, the character more sense. And showing up in Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's the only thing.
You know what? My opinion, for me, it did not change a damn thing.
No, because they did enough. They did a good enough job in Falcon Winter Soldier to explain who she was.
Right.
That it makes even as much sense for her to show up in this end of this movie.
You know
so it doesn't really matter either way.
It didn't matter either way, and the ending was going to be that was the plan about with Hawkeye. That was always the plan. That was not a redone. They didn't sit there and go, "We're going to throw in the last minute."
Brian, you do a podcast, but you don't really know that much about media.
Yeah, I'm just saying. For me,
I want to dump his sampler in his lap when he said that.
For me personally,
took a lot.
It did not matter. I know. Listen, nobody knows what you're talking about. It did not affect.
You know what I'm talking about. That's all that matters.
It didn't affect anything. That was the plan. Kevin Feige said that Loki is actually going to be more. It's going to affect the MCU when it ends than Wanda and Falcon did, and the ending of this it didn't matter. Like,
well, there you go. Perfect segue, Brian. What? Before we get into Loki, what was your grade for Black Widow?
A grade? Are we doing 1 through 10, or you want a grade?
Yeah, we'll do our 1 through 10.
1 through 10.
Or we could do our movie version, 1 out of 4 stars.
Well, on a scale of 1 through 10, I give it a 9. And if it was a scale of 1 out of 5 stars, sure, I give it a 4.5.
All right. I would give it an 8, probably, out of 10. It wasn't exemplary. It wasn't like we'll probably watch it again. It was a good watch, but it's not like a movie I'm gonna like go back multiple times and rewatch over and over again. The Taskmaster thing kind of knocks it down for me a little bit. I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan of that reveal. I was kind of like, oh, very spy movie of you, Marvel. But besides that, great movie. Like I said, the ancillary cast of characters, other than Black Widow, I think were fantastic. I thought Scarlett Johansson was fantastic as well, but I just think meeting those other new characters now, and now getting, like you said, Florence Pugh's character into the MCU and seeing her in the bigger world is going to be very interesting and see how that all works out. And if the other characters might have reappeared down the road as well.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. But yeah, so I give it an 8 out of 10, and I'll give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And that leads us into. Oh, but before we move on to Loki, congratulations to Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost. They're having a baby. Congratulations.
That's pretty cool.
That's why she wasn't at the premiere. People wondering why she wasn't at the premiere of the movie. It's because she hadn't announced she was pregnant yet, and she's like 3 months pregnant and already showing, so she didn't want to just go to the premiere and people just be like, "Oh, she's pregnant."
There was a premiere for it?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, in LA they did one.
She must have went.
She didn't go.
No.
That was the big story over
there. I didn't know they had a big premiere.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, Loki, episode 5, Brian. Are you tranced by the Scarlett Johansson pregnancy news?
No, I knew.
Okay.
She was pregnant. I am for Loki. Oh, I have stuff for Loki. Hold on.
Okay.
So this episode, which is Journey into Mystery, has a lot of Easter eggs.
Yes.
Journey into Mystery was actually the title of a series Marvel had put out where it was Kid Loki back in 2011. That was led by Kid Loki, and we get to learn more about Kid Loki in this episode.
Yes.
And the episode's called Journey into Mystery, which is kind of a nice little nod to that.
Classic Loki.
Thing. Yeah, we had the alligator Loki, Richard E. Grant as the classic Loki.
He's getting a Funko Pop, by the way.
Everybody has a Funko Pop, Mark.
I'm saying.
I think we have Funko Pops. I like the alligator.
I'd get a Funko Pop of myself if I had one. That'd be awesome.
I actually have the Loki somewhat in like, oh god, it's just white. Oh, you saw briefly there.
It's the like the shirt logo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that'd be actually kind of a great idea. Put that like on the with the alligator would be with the horns. That's a good one. But
there's some alligator shirts that I don't even know what the brand is, but
I think they're just I don't even know what they're called. Yeah, there's a name for them. There's a
name
name
for them at JCPenney's when I was younger. That's all I remember.
Yeah, you get the alligator, and then there were other ones with different animals that were knockoffs.
Yeah.
This episode was awesome. Then
it takes place all in the void.
Yes,
basically,
and we get to see Morpheus comes back, which is great. So we know.
Or Mobius.
Did they call him Morpheus?
You did. You didn't have to choose a pill. Which one do you think? You have a red pill or a blue pill? Red pill, you go back.
Morpheus.
Blue pill, you go into the void.
Yeah. He comes back. The gang gets back together, but first, which was awesome, they're all in this like bowling alley, this decrepit bowling alley underground, hiding out.
Because the whole thing is like the void is where everything goes when it gets pruned.
Yeah, it's the end of the timeline, supposedly.
At the end of time.
The very end.
Yeah. So it's like and there's this creature that eats everything that gets sent there to basically kill it, so it doesn't ever have a chance of getting back into the timeline. Yeah, they showed like a Navy ship falling and getting eaten and all that, which was kind of intense.
And this creature is actually it's like a big giant smoke monster. Yes. But in the Marvel comics, he is tied with Kang the Conqueror.
Yes. Yeah.
And the more I learn about all these little Easter eggs, the more I want to believe that Kang the Conqueror could be the one behind it all. I
think the more I think about it, we talked about it right before the show started in our pre-production meeting, which lasted all of 10 minutes. The more I think about it is we might get Kang, but not as Kang the Conqueror.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you could get just a man behind the curtain, kind of like just a regular guy named Kang who's controlling all, like not like a regular guy, but like a being at the end of that's just like controlling all this stuff, and it's not like a big bad guy. It's just a guy.
Well, it's
You know,
if it's Jonathan Majors who is playing
yes,
Kang in the Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania,
yes.
which then we'll know.
Yeah.
I think this
But I just don't think it's gonna be the same like version of Kang that we're gonna get in Ant-Man.
this could unleash Kang.
Yeah, like he like is like a I don't know.
Kang could. Okay, listen. The
It just
TVA
seems
we
like a
know is a
lot like
fraud.
a big reveal at the end of the season.
Hey, hey, listen.
That's
They
like Luke Skywalker level reveal.
no, it's not because none of us know who Kang the Conqueror is going to be in the MCU. We know who
But level
Skywalker is.
wise in what it's gonna mean for that
Kevin Feige did
world.
state the ending of Loki will affect
Yeah.
the MCU movies.
Yeah. So it's what I'm saying.
So,
That's all I'm
so
saying. It's
this
that level of a
this would
character.
this would be a big one that would
Yeah.
have a ripple with
Yeah.
the movies.
Yeah.
If what he's saying is true, and he didn't say that about the other two shows. He said,
No.
oh, he
Yeah.
said this one will have a significant impact on the shows.
Yeah.
That was his quote. Um, and going by that, if this is Kang the Conqueror, and if this is how he might escape, and then Ant-Man would have to deal with him later
Yeah.
in history.
Or he gets sent into the quantum realm because of this.
Yes, I mean,
And then he's
I
trying to
don't
get out of
know.
the quantum realm.
So we have the smoke monster who was tied to Kang. We also
Yeah.
have the TVA judge,
Yes. He
which
plays
is
girlfriend basically.
what was his love interest
Yeah.
in a 1993's Avengers comic.
Yeah.
So there's a tie there. Just
I mean, there's a lot
more
of yeah.
around here.
I mean, it could just be a lot of red herrings too. It is Marvel. You never know.
This episode did have something really funny.
I mean, look what they did with Taskmaster.
Exactly.
So you don't know. You can't say. You know.
I don't know. I want to bring up this one thing which was really funny. It had the Thanos copter.
Yes.
When Loki approaches the hideout, there is a copter. This is Thanos right on the side of the copter.
Yeah.
This is actually from Spidey Super Stories 39 that came out in 1979.
Yeah.
Where Spider-Man and Hellcat battle Thanos.
Yeah.
And Thanos, for some reason, back
has his own helicopter.
Supervillains have their names on things like the Joker. Like the
Yeah.
Joker had a helicopter.
That was the era of
like
everyone having their logos and everything.
Yeah.
Like there was the Spidey copter, the Spidey
yeah.
Doom buggy, the Spidey. Like everyone had a vehicle.
Yeah. And it became
toys.
a fan favorite joke, and it spawned memes. So they kind of put it in there as a little Easter egg. We did see the Frog Thor cameo in the jar.
Yes.
And he's trying to reach the hammer.
Yeah.
Which was buried underground, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
And then we saw the Shield helicopter, helicarrier, which was crashed.
Yes.
We saw Ronan the Accuser's ship crashed. Yes. We also saw the Stark /
Chang
Tower, Stark Tower, Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
Like crashing over.
Yeah, because Tony Stark in the comics sells the Avengers Tower to Chang.
Yeah, Kang Enterprises acquired Stark Industries. It turns out the head of Kang is revealed to be none other than time-traveling Marvel villain Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, it's another
I know.
nod to Kang the Conqueror.
I'm just saying, like,
it's
I'm
just very, I don't know. I think it's because of Wanda. It's like when they hit you over the head with something so many times, it's not going to be that.
No, we go back to Wanda. They never once said it was going to be
Quicksilver.
Yes, but the bad guy, everybody thought was going to be
Mephisto.
Mephisto. But they
had all the hints at it though. But that was the thing. They did all the things. Even with the Quicksilver thing, they gave you all the Quicksilver stuff and everything. Then it wasn't Quicksilver. It was just a random guy.
Well, he was portraying Quicksilver, but we found out it was the witch that was doing that.
Yeah.
And if you go back now, the whole hell and all that stuff, you can go back. Well, the witch.
Yeah.
You can connect it to the witch now.
Yes.
but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I really. I don't know. But
I
I
don't
just
want to
feel like
like. I
one.
think I almost don't want to know. I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
That's the one thing Marvel has done for me is like wanted me to like not investigate things. I want to just enjoy the reveal of who or whatever's going on. Like I enjoyed the reveal of Agatha as like the bad
Yeah.
as opposed to some other person. It made it more entertaining. I don't want to like just like oh it's King the Conqueror is the person at the end, and then that's who it
Well,
is, and it's just like oh it was
if
King the
it's
Conqueror the whole time.
if it's King the Conqueror, I think it'd be awesome because I was poo pooing it, but
Yeah,
seeing all these Easter eggs from this last episode,
I mean I
to
did have
me,
my
it would be
theory
cool.
that I mentioned to you on Thursday.
I like that theory too. That it could because let's set
That's
that theory
Loki.
up. But hold on,
Okay,
bring it back a little bit.
okay,
We could set that theory up
okay.
because when we are in the bowling alley,
Yes,
uh, they open the hatch and there's another Loki.
it looks
And
just like him.
it's another Loki that's
Yep,
literally Loki
yep,
looking down, and they have to fight him and his group, and he's doing his old Loki tricks.
yep.
And we saw our Loki watching it,
Exasperated.
going, this is who I used to be.
This is what
Like
I was.
I
I
can't
was.
do this.
I
Like
can't deal with this. And he just kind of like dances and moves around the people as they're fighting, and just kind of like exasperated, and annoyed. Like,
yeah,
how dumb was I? Like, what
yes.
was my issue?
Always trying to backstab and
Yeah,
people backstabbing me, and
yeah.
was never going to stop until he changed. And I think this is why it's a great show because it's a learning. We're watching him grow as a character. He's seeing that he cannot be this person all the
Yeah.
time. It gets tiring,
And so the
not
theory
for
I said to you,
everybody, but just for him.
the theory I said to you was it was a story that was told during the episode. Classic Thor or classic Loki tells the story of how when his when his Loki met his end with Thanos, he faked his death and he went to a planet
Yeah,
and lived there
yeah,
in solitude and loneliness. And then finally missed his brother Thor, so wanted to go see him, and that's how he got caught by the TVA.
right.
My theory is our Loki from the MCU, the main Loki that we've seen his timeline of, did that same thing in Endgame.
But we saw
Knew
that.
he was gonna die because
No, no,
he's
no. That's not what you said on Thursday. We were saying it could be a Loki from a different time.
yes.
It could be a Loki from, but it could be
I'm
another
saying in
Loki,
his timeline, he did the same thing. The Loki that is in charge of or is running this whole scheme, basically.
and he could be gathering Lokis.
Yes, because
That
he
could
wants to
be
be the only Loki.
right, but
So he voided, put all the other Lokis into the void, so they are out of time, and he's the only Loki left, and that's what he wants.
yeah,
That's why he's been going around capturing all these Lokis. Because they haven't talked about capturing. They've talked about capturing other people and variants and things, but the ones that they've worried about the most and worked on the most were Lokis.
yeah. Well, the TVA is just basically a Loki catching
Loki
all
capturing
Lokis,
agency, basically. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, it would be interesting if it was a third Loki, and then we have all three there, and that could cause another a big event,
Nexus event,
Nexus
and that's what
event,
causes the
and explode.
multiverse of madness.
Yeah, something. But part of me feels like all points to Kang, and this will lead to Ant-Man. I don't know. I'm split 50-50 in both of these.
Well, here's my theory on this
Oh,
now. The more we've talked about it, end of this episode, or the big bad that they're gonna walk to at the end of at the end of episode 5, they defeat the smoke monster. The smoke opens, and there's a building with a big beaming light inside it, and they start walking towards that building.
yeah.
Behind that building, if you look very much like the quantum realm.
I couldn't tell.
It had that same kind of like shimmery kind of look of what we saw in Doctor Strange when he went into the quantum realm to fight that other big bad
Yeah.
in the Doctor Strange movie. So here's my new theory on this. The person controlling the timeline right now is a Loki. They
Yeah.
battled that Loki to free themselves from the TVA. That battle causes the event, the Nexus event, that releases Kang in from the quantum realm, or begins the break of the quantum realm, which is what then leads into Ant-Man, which then also leads into Doctor Strange, because the multiverse is brought back. So there's a multiverse of madness, which works in the Doctor Strange film, and that's where they jump off from there. And I could all be wrong about all this, and it could just be whatever, but
Yeah.
that's my theory.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
It just
I
seems
don't
like to
know.
me it was like this whole show. It's called Loki. It's been all about Loki dealing with different iterations of himself
In growing as a character.
and growing as a character. I think the only way, the way I would write it is very much Scott Pilgrim-esque. He's fought all the other battles, and now he's at the end and he has to fight himself because he hasn't fought himself this whole
Well,
time.
he did. He met himself and he got away
Fell in love
from
with
himself.
himself. Yeah, basically.
No, but in the bowling alley, he
But he
literally
didn't
thought
fight. He just
he
walked
got
away.
Yes, because you can't fight. He knows himself. He can't fight himself.
But I
He
think
knows.
that's what's going to happen at the end of this series is he's going to have to fight the last version of Loki,
Or
like
it could
the
be
ultimate,
Kang.
almost like the ultimate version of Loki.
Or it could be Kang the Conqueror, and there's no real big fight, but more of dialogue about what's going on
But
and how
something's
to
going to
stop
happen.
it. Yeah.
Either this Loki continues, like our Loki continues. There's rumors of a second season. People are talking about already.
Yeah, I
Or
mean, I don't think there'll be a second
like
season.
I would love for Sylvie to make it into the MCU and
Yeah.
not be called Loki and just give her the name Enchantress.
She could have her own series if they
Yeah,
did
that's what
anything.
I'm thinking. That's what might be the next iteration of the show. Next year would be her show. So it's like it depends upon how this all works out. But I'm excited for Wednesday. I'm excited to see how it all works out and where we're going. What are you doing over there with CDs?
Nothing. It's my coaster.
Oh,
No, I'm excited too. I'm very excited. I'm Wednesday. I think in the morning I'm gonna try to watch it before me and Allison go out for the day
yeah.
because I don't want it to be spoiled.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I
Because you
might
know
get
you're gonna
up
spoil
right
it.
at 7 o'clock in the
Rhymes
morning.
with John.
Yeah. Oh, he will. Especially
He
if he's
will.
right.
Yeah.
If Kang is right, he will.
Yeah.
I will too. I mean, I'm going to be. I mean, I will be. I'm sure I'll be happy how whatever happens.
Either way, it's gonna be great. It hasn't been bad yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be. And speaking of Marvel stuff, Brian, we forgot to
Yeah.
mention earlier, we got a What If trailer,
I haven't watched
which
it yet.
looks amazing.
Yeah, I want to be surprised.
It's like 23 episodes, I've heard.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Which seems like an awful lot.
I know.
Who
This is
said
supposed
that?
to
Wasn't
like
that
I
Dan?
saw online.
I don't. Part of me doesn't believe that. I just feel like that's way too many for right now. Like I feel like they would split it because if they're going week to week, I'm looking it up.
I'm looking it up right now as well.
Come on, internet.
What if? What if? What if? How
Hold
many
on.
episodes are you?
Episode guide.
10 episodes.
10. Who the hell told us that? Like that was
Yeah, it
Thursday
was
night.
23.
Yeah, what drugs are you smoking?
I don't know. It's Dan. Who knows?
Um,
A second 10-episode season is in development.
yeah. So first up, yeah, first is going to be 10, and then the second season will be another 10. I'm sure. So
Yeah,
there's your 20, but
there's
it's
your
not going to
20.
be 23. They're not going to. I can't imagine Disney being like, yeah, we're going to do 23 weeks of this because they're going to, you know, they like to
Yeah.
give all their properties some
Well,
time.
because this will, like,
Yeah.
time wise, it'll be right around the time when this ends, 10 weeks from August. Be like 2 months, so like right around October-ish. So that's when we'll get Hawkeye.
Is Hawkeye coming out this year? Did we talk about that?
Hawkeye comes out this year, yes.
Okay. Yeah. But actually, they just filmed the generic show, and then they photoshopped the main character in that show because they had to photoshop the
I
very last scene of Black Widow to coincide it, and it's all CG. And they just did it on the fly. They just did multiple shows, and they figured, whatever Photoshop person they put in Black Widow, that would be the show. So it could have been Hawkeye. 2 years ago, it was probably going to be, Howard the Duck, and if this movie had come out
I
last
will tell
year,
you, your favorite Marvel character does show up in What If. So
Sleepwalker,
no, you just
oh,
mentioned him.
Howard the Duck. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm very excited for Howard the
Yeah,
Duck.
Hawkeye is going to be, of course, Clint Barton from the film series, and Haley Steinfeld joining him as Kate Bishop.
Yeah, I think Kate Bishop is going to be the new one. I mean, she's going to take over the mantle, you know.
Yeah,
So he can Hawkeye will get out. I mean, obviously there might be, after that last part of Black Widow, what's going to happen, there. So I mean,
yeah.
I think it'll be
I'm
getting
thinking
interesting again.
if What If is 10 episodes, you're gonna get probably a November release, late October, early November release of Hawkeye.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
They haven't announced the actual date yet. It's just said
Oh,
late 2021. But I'm assuming that's because they didn't like release the dates for any of these until like they get closer to them coming out. So I'm assuming that's what'll happen. They'll wait until like
yeah,
halfway
yeah.
through
You're
What
right.
If they'll say, "All right, coming November, Hawkeye."
Yeah, Hawkeye is late 2021, so
Yeah,
probably will be in the fall.
yeah.
Since we're not going to have a Mandalorian, Hawkeye will
Close
probably
to
take us.
December, Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, so Hawkeye could take us until like
Yeah,
October, November to December.
yeah,
Hook, line, and sinker.
yeah.
I won't be canceling my Disney Plus for a long time.
Yep. You're in for the long haul.
Yeah. Um.
That's why to
Anyway,
keep the people on the dole, keep the movies, keep the shows coming out in continuity. So you can't
yeah.
have an off season.
And now, I mean, now you can just show the fact that even though they put it on demand, Black Widow, look at the amount of money they made. It doesn't really matter
Well, because not
if
everyone wants to go to the movie theater, or everyone can afford to go to the movie theater.
yeah, but it's more expensive to watch it at home.
Not really.
It was
If you
ten
map it out.
dollars to go to the theater. It was
Yeah,
30
but you're one person,
$30.
though. I'm saying. If you think about it, if you're a family of four,
I'm not arguing with you, Mark.
10 tickets,
My
four
point
tickets
is,
is $40.
my
You spend
point,
$20 and you watch it at home. You don't have to worry about it.
because you interrupt me all the time. My point is, it doesn't matter if the movie comes on demand in the theater where they were trying to make a doomsday for theaters. This proves that it can do both and it
Oh
can
well, yeah. What
succeed
I'm
both.
saying,
That's what I was trying to get at. And then you just
there's
like,
still a group. I'm just saying, there's a group of people who don't want to go to the theater or
I
can't go
don't.
to the theater.
That's fine because we're in a pandemic.
The Premier
There's
Access is not made for you, Brian.
Mark. I didn't say it was.
I know, but you
And
think
I would not pay $30 to watch a movie, but for one person.
it's
No,
$20. That's okay.
no, it's 30.
Was it 30 now? It was 20. But
No, it was always 30. All the
I thought
Disney
Mulan
premiere
was
movies.
20.
Mulan was 30. We
Whatever.
talked about this like a million times. Disney's the only one who's charging 30, where other movies were 20.
You and two of your friends get together, then you buy the movie, and you're all set and good to go.
Yeah. Well, you get so defensive. It's so weird.
I'm not defensive.
You are. You get so defensive. You're like, I'm like, I know it's not made for me, Mark. I'm just, my point is, it can work both.
It
can do very well in the box office and do very well for whoever puts it out streaming. And that's all I'm saying.
Keep your kids at home and watch it on television. Don't bring them to the movie theater and interrupt my viewing of the movie.
It's not about you, Mark.
It is about me. It's always about me, Brian.
It's not about you, Mark.
Everything's about me.
Oh my God.
Actually, everything's about John Francia. That's a whole different.
Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Air out your dirty laundry with him.
Let me ask you this question: Do you still have any clue what Dan Wilkinson does for a living?
This is not a conversation for the podcast because A, nobody knows who Dan Wilkinson is, and B,
everyone knows who Dan Wilkinson is.
No.
Dan the Announcer Man is a very popular person.
Let's end the show. We can discuss afterwards because nobody cares. I don't care. I'm bored by the conversation already. All right. So this has been a show. We'll be back next Monday. We're going to talk about the ending of Loki.
The finale of Loki. We're going to have a huge breakdown. I'm taking notes. I'll have my notebook out. I'll be ready to go. I'm excited.
It's going to be King the Conqueror. King the Conqueror. King the Conqueror. Yeah.
If I'm right, you guys are all going to be eating crow. That's all I got to say.
For what?
If it's not King the Conqueror and it's just Loki.
I'm 50-50. I feel like it could be either or.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, up until episode 5, I really have no idea. But now
that's the good thing. That's what you want.
But now I'm kind of in between. So I don't know. All right, Mark. We will be back next week.
We will be. Have a great vacation, Brian. Enjoy your week off.
Oh, I will.
Enjoy sitting in your house while it rains all week long.
Well, it's not going to rain Thursday or Friday.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Well, I've been out of the house Thursday night, which was nice.
Wow.
I was with you.
I know. I was there.
Saturday, got to spend time outside. Sunday, I was out all day. Today is a day,
is it raining there? Because it's nothing here. It's just gloomy.
It's gloomy now, but it's still crappy out. But Wednesday, we're going to do stuff. Thursday, we're going to do stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So I want to leave this area. I like getting out.
You made it such a homey home, and you're going to buy those chairs that we saw at the Agawam Cinemas to put in your basement. You're still going to leave and go. I know.
Those are cool chairs.
She's like, How are the movies? And Brian decided he's going to buy chairs from the movie theater. But besides that, it went great.
Well,
that's all Brian talked about for the first half hour of sitting there waiting for everyone else to show up. As he found really chairs that he loves and he wants to buy and put in his basement.
I thought they were cool chairs. They needed to recline. If they don't recline, they're no go for me.
The reason why they don't recline is they don't want you falling asleep during the movie, Brian. That's the point of the chairs not reclining.
But those chairs, they have reclining chairs in movie theaters, Mark.
I know, but they don't want you. I think if you bought them from your house, the reclining part wouldn't be a good idea. They're just going to fall asleep in them all the time.
I fall asleep during everything.
You do. You're old.
I'm old.
Old man Kazaska.
All right, Mark.
Everywhere.
Let's wrap this up. We'll see everybody next week.
Goodbye, everybody. Enjoy the Loki finale. Brian, enjoy your vacation, and we'll see you all back here. Same bat time, same bat channel.